The fragrant and wonderful British actress Emma Thompson has launched an attack upon the way young people today speak. All that use of words like lol and innit and well I'm like. Is she right to complain? Or is she sounding too much like a sort of reactionary Nanny McPhee? Well, I'm like here with John Humphreys.
Innit.
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 Did you approve of what Emma Thompson had to say about kids and the way they speak?
I think she's well porn, innit? Sick.
Well,
I mean, skills,
well,
innit?
That tracks to well skills.
Thank you very much.
Do you know what that means?
Nope, not a word.
Do you?
Not
No, sorry about that.
It's a load of shit, this, isn't it? It's absolute What's well
Like,
porn?
innit?
Isn't that in it?
It's sick. No, you're a little behind the times, Rod. If you're really cool, you remember cool? Of course you're old enough to remember cool. If you're really cool, then you're sick.
Are you?
If you approve of something, if I gave you a nice new iPod, or in your case, gramophone player, or whatever it was, you would
say, well, Daddy-o, that's sick.
Yeah, you probably would, Rod, yeah. But if you were cool, you'd say, I'm sorry, if you were down.
Sick. Or down.
Yeah, if you were down, you'd say, skills.
There was a report out by a woman called Emma Thompson. Do you know the actress Emma Thompson? She's in Nanny McPhee and all that sort of stuff. Complaining about the way you talk, you specifically, incidentally, that you make up your new words and you say in it all the time.
What's wrong with that?
Well, because it's moronic.
Why? It's just, what's wrong with that? It's just changing the way you talk, like.
I think this isn't a new argument. Every generation tends to accuse the generation that comes after it of using the language in a sloppy way, but quite often that just means in a different way, and language is dynamic, English evolves, and I think that's just what we're seeing here.
But that's meaningless, that's gibberish, isn't it?
Of course it is, it's the whole point. That's exactly the point. That is precisely why they do it, because to you and to me, to us it's gibberish, of course it is, but they want it to be. They want to be able to talk to each other without us old farts understanding, and why not? Why shouldn't they? What's wrong with that?
So do you speak to your mates, you know, using this sort of slang?
Yeah, of course.
And they speak to you the same way? You understand everything?
Yeah, it's like, obviously, like.
Obviously. But
if one looks at spoken English, you do find quite distinct regional variations that existed until very recently, and to some extent continue to exist, but are maybe being ironed out and removed by globalisation and the Americanisation of the English language.
I mean, we have our own crap speak, don't we? You and I speak jargon.
I don't speak jargon.
Come on, you used to edit the Today programme, and you'd say, look, what about that prereq? Yeah, what's a prereq?
But that's different, isn't it? That's professional,
technical
jargon. One of the things which really annoys me is like. So, you know, I'm like drinking some beer. Well, you are drinking some beer.
Yeah, but that's people using it in a stupid sense of the terminology. I mean, it's like if I was going, oh, I can't remember, it was something like, well, no, that would be a proper use of it, but I mean, like is sort of like an word nowadays.
Yes, it is, yeah. It's a pause for thought.
It's irritating, it's a pause for thought, and people who have spoken eloquently shouldn't use such words.
These people are far too eloquent to be representative of this new dumbed down news. This is a real problem. Can you point me in the direction of any sickos? Aren't you really dignifying this what is really an expression of cretinism?
You don't believe that for a
second.
Believe it. You're being deliberately
because
provocative.
What Emma Thompson was getting at wasn't so much using skills to mean good or sick to
No,
mean
she was talking about the way they say in it and all that. But what's wrong with it? Yeah, but it's an affectation. You didn't use affected language. No, not much. Come on. We do it. All of us do it all the time, but we think it's posh the way we do it. We think it's cretinous the way they do it.
People get very cross, for example, about mobile phone speak.
What's interesting is how communities, because of these communication technologies, can very quickly settle on a form of abbreviation. This becomes a standard way of communicating, a mutually understood way of communicating.
As technology's getting better, you obviously need to abbreviate more things to like save characters. But for example, if you're sending a text message and it goes over to 2 text messages in one frame, then obviously you need to abbreviate, such as lol, which is most commonly.
Laugh out loud.
Whereas maybe in the past, slang or terminology may have been quite geographically or limited to a particular network, it now has the ability to become dominant quite quickly, and that is a change in the rhythm of the way our language evolves.
Does lol not make you really cross when you read it?
Yeah, really. I actually, when I write, I speak immaculately. Like,
but I mean, instead of speak immaculately, you're really disappointing actually, because I wanted someone who is a complete imbecile.
If you're brought up taught to speak in a particular way, if your parents speak in a particular way and you adopt it, it doesn't make you stupid. It just makes you normal.
But it's less the new words, it's less the neologisms and all that sort of stuff. It's more the laziness, as you put
exactly.
it. Of,
no, it's
of
not the
like.
neologisms. It's the like, and it's
you can't tell me that if
irritating.
your son, your lovely son, said to you, "Hello, Dad," innit? You would not react.
Smash him in the teeth, wouldn't I? Obviously. I mean, I use physical violence, of course. I mean, what else?
Like, there's a word for like the way that like you talk at the moment. It's like it's Jamaican. It's because the like Jamaican way of talking's been kind of like integrated into like the British.
Do you like
sort
that?
of, I don't particularly like, but there's a lot of different like ways.
There were loads of likes there. There were more likes than in a like market.
And they wouldn't do it if they didn't get a rise out of us. I mean, if we looked at them terrible, us.
Come on.
No, they do it because they want to, mostly because they want to wind us up. Some do it because that's how they were taught by their parents.
We might argue that because, well, arguably, it is a less top-down process, it's actually quite liberating. That we're actually seeing language being developed not by elites in the same way, but giving voice to other elements in our society that previously wouldn't have had that kind of ability to control language.
What you have to understand is that as London is getting more multicultural, more different
serious.
people are, like, it's a culture, not a culture war, but it's a culture clash. And as this generation has got so many cultures around them, like by music, art, all different cultures kind of clashing together in London, which is why I like it because it's so diverse. People are getting more, I don't know, people are taking little bits from different other cultures and kind of forming today.
Well, I wonder if there's been any time in human history when parents haven't objected to the way in which their children speak. All that being said, I don't like to hear it, and I find that the best method of countering it is a cane across the buttocks, a hard cane across the buttocks, whenever they say in it or like. But that's just my view.